Hello and welcome to the United Stand. It's our Manchester United versus Brighton FA Cup quarter-final preview. We've also got some big news. Jose Mourinho apparently furious with a couple of Manchester United's big stars. But let's start off with some big news, some real news. Marcus Rojo has signed a new contract for Manchester United, keeping at the club until 2021 with... And Manchester United do this a lot, the option of a further year. So effectively 2022, unless we want to move him on. So here for another 3 years. Big contract that. I mean, I do class Marcus Rojo as a very important player for Manchester United. I was always a bit unsure about him. I don't think he's a very good left back, but as a left-sided centre-back, he's very good. For me, it still should be Bailly and Rojo as our first choice centre-back pairing. I think that works really well. Left balance, right balance, both absolute nutters who will just give everything. I really like them both. Obviously injured at the moment, Rojo, but really pleased that he signed that contract. And I consider him a very important player for Manchester United when you're building towards being a title-winning side. So big news. I know what everyone's going to be thinking straight away. Where's Martial's contract? Because we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. Two players not been offered new contracts, Rojo and Martial. Well, Rojo signed one. Maybe it's going to be a little bit more difficult with Martial. I suspect that, well, you know, some people will be saying maybe Martial's not too sure whether he wants to stay and play under a manager like Mourinho, which is a concern when we're trying to attract players as well. Do they want to come and play that style of football? But hopefully this is the start of something where we'll get Martial as well. Right, let's. Have we got everyone live with me? Are we live? I'm just bloody looking at my screen and. Yes, we should be live. Of course we're live. Of course we're live. Why would it be doing that on the screen? Anyway, let's talk about Manchester United versus Brighton. I'm going to do my predicted lineup in a minute with all you lot. That's what we do on the live show. But I want to first start off about, in a couple of news outlets, apparently Jose Mourinho is furious with Paul Pogba and Alexis Sanchez and feels that they were a big part as to why Manchester United went out of the Champions Leagues, i.e. his two big players not performing for him. Now, I don't know what a lot of people are going to think about that, but my thoughts are this. Sanchez is I think Alexis Sanchez will be a good signing, but I agree he's been a very bad signing so far. Paul Pogba can be a world-class midfielder, but I agree he's not a very good midfielder at the moment. But I don't think that... You can't get angry with a Michelin star chef if you buy their ingredients from Aldi. Aldi's not bad actually, but Poundland. You can't. You've got to give them the situation to portray and express their talent. So that chef wants the finest ingredients. Paul Pogba and Alexis Sanchez want to be in the right positions, playing in the right sort of team for them. If you want to set up a team at home in a Champions League game with a back four and two centre defensive midfielders and keep everyone in their own half and defend, then go and sign Kante. Go and sign defensive-minded midfielders and attackers. Don't go and sign Paul Pogba and Alexis Sanchez. If you're Pep Guardiola and you sign Sanchez and Pogba, they're going to be like... You know, I don't like using this analogy, but if you stick Pogba and Sanchez in a Spurs team, a Liverpool team or a Man City team, you will see very good players that they are. You stick them in a Manchester United team at the moment and they're not able to express themselves. So I actually don't think Mourinho's angry or furious with Sanchez or Pogba. Maybe he's angry or furious with them because they didn't do the defensive job he wanted them to. But I don't think you can level any real blame at those two when, for anybody with a brain who watches the way Manchester United play at the moment, it's not pleasing on the eye, and it's very difficult for players such as Sanchez, such as Pogba, such as Martial, such as Rashford to really express themselves in a team that is so conservative. And it's not just me or you saying that. You listen to people like Paul Scholes, Steven Gerrard, Ferdinand the other night, Lampard said it, Gary Neville said it. You know, everybody's saying it across the spectrum, fans, ex-players. It's just, you're not going to get the best out of players like that playing long ball football and conservative football. Manchester United forever the best. Thanks for the contribution. What do I think of David Alaba? Very good. I like him as a left-sided player. But I think Rojo's as good, if I'm totally honest. And Biosphere, he plays Fellaini and blames Pogba and Sanchez. Mourinho is a fake clown. Thanks for the contribution, mate. Big game for us. What I want to say though is before I move on, we're going to do the predicted team news now. You may have seen it on our Twitter or Facebook feed. Good plug there going into a topic on the YouTube channel. But you may have seen it on our Facebook or Twitter feed. And it is very pertinent and it is very true. Sir Alex Ferguson only said this in 2017. As Manchester United manager, you have a duty and a responsibility to entertain. And this isn't mythical chat we're having here. This is fact. He said that. You have a responsibility as Manchester United manager to entertain the fans effectively, and you do. And he also said another comment about Sir Matt Busby years ago about having the pressure and the great pride in continuing what he did with the club, entertaining football. This has to happen at Manchester United. I've said it so many times. It is not a choice to come to Manchester United and decide, I'm Jose Mourinho, I'm going to play defensive, pragmatic football. That's not the choice. That is not the choice. You don't make that choice. As Manchester United manager, you don't make that choice. Why we've employed 3 pragmatic managers, defensive-minded managers, since Sir Alex Ferguson is on the board. I don't know what they're thinking. Moyes, I'll never understand. Van Gaal, defensive-minded. Mourinho, defensive-minded. You can have a go at the managers, of course you can. They're in the firing line. But at some point, you've got to look at the board and say, do you actually understand what Manchester United's all about, or is it dying within the club? Because Sir Alex Ferguson and Sir Bobby Charlton, they know what it's all about, but how loud are their voices within in the corridors of power that matter? Are the corridors of power that matter actually suffocating what Manchester United's all about? And no, we're going to get pragmatic people in who will just keep the money rolling in and keep us successful on the pitch to the certain level that we want. What we need is the club back. Because it's not a choice. It's not. I'm not even aiming this at Mourinho. It's not a choice to play pragmatic football at Manchester United. It is not allowed. You must play entertaining football. And putting that quote up by Sir Alex Ferguson is obviously really important. The duty to entertain the fans effectively. It's a very important statement. And he's the greatest manager there's ever been in sport, as far as I'm concerned. But how important is his voice within the corridors of power at Manchester United at the moment? It's very, it's gospel, it's biblical to us Manchester United fans. But is it actually being fed out around the club at the moment? Because you'd think, actually, it's the most obvious thing at Old Trafford. But I don't know whether it is. And we must get back to that. Anyway, let's have a look at the team lineup for Manchester United versus Brighton. It's a 7:45 kickoff on a Saturday night. That's quite a full cup of tea and it's hot, and when I went like that it nearly blew up on my nose. Blooper. But also tonight is a little bit of a shout out as well. Friday night, I normally go for a few drinks after work on a Friday, but I'm working from home today, so I can't go for a few drinks because I've got to do a few things after work. So I will be having a few drinks from about 7:30. We're going to be live on the United Stand at 8 o'clock, so join me for a drink and a chat at 8 o'clock tonight on the United Stand if you're not doing anything else. If you're fortunate to be going out yourself, fair enough. Manchester United versus Brighton. Let's do it. Worst brand of football in the league, says MA. It's become a circus, says Biosphere. I want Liverpool to go through because they will never get past the likes of Juve, Barca and Madrid. Yeah, Champions League draw. Did it on That's Football earlier, trying to ignore it, to be honest. Let's focus on the FA Cup, says King K Gaming. Yeah, exactly. And I tell you what, bringing it back to this FA Cup game, this is massive for Manchester United. Now, if you're asking me to bet which way Mourinho is going to go, I'm going to go with negative, conservative, pragmatic football. But statement time tomorrow. If I believe in Mourinho, everyone knows I do, and maybe I'm banging my head up against the wall that's labelled deluded, but if he really gives a damn about Manchester United fans and Manchester United, tomorrow is statement time. Tomorrow is apology time. Actions speak louder than words. Pick a team that befits Manchester United. Put a DVD on tonight, Jose, or have a look on YouTube of Manchester United through the years and look at what they do. Look at what is ingrained in our club, attacking football. And then tomorrow in the FA Cup, in a home game at the FA Cup quarter final, pick a team that befits Manchester United. And you watch how quickly you will get forgiven by these fans who will give you the second chance I think you deserve. But don't rub this second chance in their face and let it become the long goodbye many people fear it's going to be. Play the United way. You've got the players. He's moaning about the players. He's got the players. So, if I was Manchester United manager tomorrow, I wouldn't mess around. Maybe I would put Chong on the bench or Gomez on the bench, injury permitting. But I'm not going to mess around and go stupid. So, De Gea in goal. Valencia obviously needs to play at right back. Where's my man? Here he is. He's the man at the moment. He's my boy. Eric Bailly, captain. He should be captain. I'll give him the captain right now. Lindelof, I would play. I think it's an FA Cup game. I think Lindelof should play. He's not done anything wrong, and we were saying this not long ago. Why is he not playing more games? Smalling's played well recently, but is Smalling ever going to be the first choice centre-back when we sort our team out? No, so play Lindelof. Whether he's on the custard or not, play Luke Shaw. Play Luke Shaw. He's a good player. Ashley Young's played a lot recently. He's not that good. Play Luke Shaw. Give him a game. That's what I would do. Then in the midfield, let's not mess around with the midfield. Let's just do this properly. Paul Pogba in the midfield. Matic in the midfield. And I'm tempted to play McTominay. A lot of people would say McTominay. But you know what? I don't want to mess around. I don't want to mess around with this Manchester United team in this game. And I'm not going to even flirt with you. I'll do that when I've had a beer later. Martial on the left. Let's not mess around anymore. Remember that mantra. Play the United way. Get the players on the pitch and excite the players. So I play Martial there. I play Juan Mata there. I don't know why Mata was dropped in midweek. Sensationally stupid, if you ask me. There was a number of stupid decisions, but it's not playing Mata against Spanish opposition when he's been the glue in the last few games. Absolutely amazed me. And then Alexis Sanchez, play him at number 10, because you can't have those two. And where's Rom? Big Rom up front. Big Rom. And that's how I'd go. I want to have a look what you lot are saying, because I've just been talking away to myself there, not looking at the live comments. I'm going to have a few drinks with you all tonight, Ryan. 8 o'clock tonight. So that's how I would go. And I know people will say Pogba doesn't work well in a midfield two. Sit down. Sit down. Pogba doesn't work in a midfield two that sits here. Pogba in a more expansive midfield two, it has worked. It worked very well away to Leicester last season. Pogba, Matic, Sanchez there, so he's not getting into Pogba's space there. Martial there. Mata can come into these areas. Romelu Lukaku up front. These two going forward. He's my man. Give him a star. That's how I would do it. That's how I would do it tomorrow. You know, I like Marcus Rashford. I'd rather play Martial. Can bring him on in the second half. I'd even consider dropping Lukaku for Rashford, actually. You know what? Play the United way. Put the young lad up front. You know, I would be absolutely happy with this team. Let him get the yellow off. So I'd be happy with that team. That's what I would do tomorrow if I was Jose Mourinho. Play the United way. Quick, attacking football. The only real defensive element there is Matic, which is fine. You've got to have someone like that. Let that front five with Pogba express itself. Let that back four do its thing. And if that's the team news tomorrow, happy days. I think we're all happy, aren't we? If that's the team tomorrow, drop a like on the video if you like it. I think it's a very, very good team. The reality is, if you go 4-3-3 and play McTominay, I like McTominay, but if you play McTominay, we're at home against Brighton and suddenly we're playing a midfield three and we've got to drop one of these lot. No, we're at home. Play the United way. Nothing against McTominay, but if you play McTominay, it becomes a midfield three. Do you really want United to play 4-3-3? Because I don't. I don't want us to play 4-3-3. I think 4-3-3 is very defensive. I don't like 4-3-3. I would only play 4-3-3 if Matic was there and Milankovic-Savic was there, and these two would be real box-to-box CAMs, and then you'd probably put him out there and pull Mata off. You might like that. But no, that's how I would play with the team that we've got at the moment. Mark Kearney says he's heard that Juventus are buying Martial. You know, the United, it can go two ways, can't it? He can start thinking about what his job is at Manchester United, Jose Mourinho. And let's call a spade here. This isn't fan opinion being controversial to try and get, you know, be controversial. This is serious now. This is Manchester United. This is what Manchester United is, an attacking football club. We've got a manager who's just embarrassed us this week in a game we should have won by playing defensive at Old Trafford. And he's quite rightly been castigated by a lot of people, ex-professionals, the media, the fans, quite rightly. But this is it. Forget it now. I think forget it. I believe in Mourinho. I believe in Manchester United. Forget about that. Let's see what his response is. Is there going to be a response? He doesn't have to say sorry, but is there going to be a response? Right, I shouldn't have done those things. I'm going to play the United way now, because he can do it. Or is he going to continue doing what he's always done? Because I'll tell you what, if he plays Fellaini tomorrow, I'm not going to be Mourinho out, but I'm going to be like, that is another kick in the teeth to all the fans who can't stand Fellaini now in a football shirt, and in Manchester United football shirt. And to be frank, he's not a Manchester United quality player, and he's certainly the furthest you can get away from the United way. So if he plays Fellaini tomorrow, to me, that is a big up yours to Manchester United fans, because it's like, he's not stupid. He knows United fans don't want Fellaini at the club anymore. And if he plays him tomorrow after that abject performance in midweek, that just says I'm Mourinho, this is my way, and I'm still going to do it. And I think then it will be the long goodbye, and I think that's very, very sad. He's got the players. That lineup there is exactly the lineup that he can play, and the way he should play. But I'm just going to... This is not my predicted 11. This is how I would play. So my predicted 11 isn't this. I think he will play Lindelof. But I think Young will definitely start. I think he will play... Well, you won't play. You've got no chance, mate. I think we'll play like this. And I'm going to go... I'm not going to throw him under a bus because I do like Mourinho. If he does that, I'll just be shaking my head at Team News Time. That would be an absolute disgrace and a kick in the teeth to Manchester United fans, because it's about what you think about the club and the fans now. Are you going to actually mock them and pick him? You've got to stop. It's got to stop. I don't think he will do it. I think he will do this. Which some people might say, well, that's not a bad team. But for me, you've lost an attacker to play a midfield three at home to Brighton. So I don't want to see that lineup. Although I wouldn't be unhappy with McTominay playing. I don't want to see Young playing really. But I think that's a little bit too defensive. But it does give Pogba freedom. But it also has those two operating in the same space again, which is a big no. So I think that's going to be my predicted lineup. If he goes with the one I did there, if someone can email him and he does that, hallelujah, praise the Lord. But that's my predicted lineup. Right, let's come back to the live comments. Sanchez probably deserves to be dropped. You're right. Sanchez probably does deserve to be dropped. Jose must get out of our club, says Club036. Sanchez needs dropping, says Paul Body. And King K Gaming, they need to play with the ball more and worry less about organisation and caution. Very, very good statement that. I think United under Mourinho have become so obsessed about what the opposition are doing and being organised, and it's not done us any good. And it's not the United way, but it's not done us any good. Manchester United has always been a club that plays on risk. If you think about the big, I'm going to quote Sir Alex Ferguson again. I've never played for a draw in my life. He was a risk taker. He rolled the dice. But when you've got top players, it's not rolling the dice 50-50. You're rolling it every time you roll the dice and play risk football, like in those last few minutes of games where we used to win. Yeah, it was a bit gung-ho. But when you're going gung-ho with top quality players and you roll the dice, you've got a better chance than you have if you haven't got those players. So risk has always been an element at Manchester United. It's not anymore. We're very risk averse, but we do need to get that back because it's what makes football and it's what makes Manchester United fans. So we do need to get back to that. 3-5-2, come on, says Yusuf. I like the 3-5-2, Yusuf, but we never play 3-5-2 at Old Trafford. We've played it away from home. We've never played it at Old Trafford. I can't think of a game we've played 3-5-2 at Old Trafford. If you can find one, let's mention it again at 8 o'clock. Hey Mark, what would it take for you to be Jose out? Just out of curiosity, says Luca. If you've been watching the United stand for any period of time, you'll know that I've always said I can't see a situation where I'm Mourinho out. Of course, that's a cop out, and I'll get splinters on my backside for sitting on the fence. But there is a line, of course. If Jose Mourinho burnt down Old Trafford, then I'd probably have to say Jose Mourinho out. But in a serious sense, I think if this style of football continued for another year, and he got rid of Martial in the summer, and he kept Fellaini, they would be three things that would be pushing me in a year's time to be very much Mourinho out. But who knows? I don't think those things will happen. I do believe he deserves a second chance. But I do think you have to live in the real world and respect other people's opinions. And I don't have a massive issue with people who are Mourinho out. I just think it's way too soon. But in a game like tomorrow, I didn't really want to make a big deal of it. That's why I've not spoken about it until further into the video for the hardcore people. But if he picks Fellaini tomorrow, I will take that as an up yours to Manchester United fans. I really will. Because he knows that selection was terrible on Tuesday. He knows it was a poor performance. He knows Fellaini symbolises everything United aren't. And if he does it, it's ignorant and stubborn and against the fans. And I don't want to see that. I don't think he'll do it. Biosphere, you are in denial about Mourinho. Thanks for that, mate. I'm not in denial. That's in Egypt. There was a comment there. You need to take over the club. Oh God, no. I'm just a Manchester United fan, just like all of you. And our opinions do matter. They are very important. And as I said the other night, you will get idiots who say, well, of course Mourinho knows more than you. He's paid more than you. The same idiots who said, of course Van Gaal knows more than you. He's paid more than you. Van Gaal's not a Manchester United fan. Mourinho's not a Manchester United fan. Manchester United fans will know way more about the club than any manager, unless it's someone like the class of '92, because they come in, they're paid a lot of money, and they don't support the club. They don't know what players are all about. They've not been doing it for long enough. And the reality is, Van Gaal made mistakes that fans wouldn't do, and that's when he pretty much lost the fans. As I said on Tuesday night, the scariest thing about that result on Tuesday night was I can guarantee you 90% of Manchester United fans would have picked a better 11 and a better tactics than Mourinho on Tuesday night. And that's worrying. It is worrying when he's the best manager in the world in my eyes, and he's paid a lot of money to manage our club and get it back to the top. Yet most Manchester United fans would have picked a better 11 and a better set of tactics. That's a concern. But he's a second chance. Let's give him a second chance. If we keep changing the managers every 2 years, then our progress will be halted in every 2 years and the cycle will continue, says Tabash. That's one of my big fears as well, mate. That is one of mine. Would I take a job on the board? They wouldn't. Do you think they'd want a Manchester United fan on the board? Never. What I want at my club, and what I'm worried about at the moment, is I read you these Sir Alex Ferguson quotes about I've never played for a draw in my life. You've got to entertain the fans. And we're all throwing that at Mourinho. Read what Sir Alex Ferguson said. You've got to entertain the fans. That's the United way. Mourinho, do it, right? I understand that. But who employed him? Who employed Van Gaal? Who employed Moyes? What is the mentality of Manchester United's board at the moment? Because is there anybody on that board who is actually sat there going, Manchester United must attack. It's ingrained in the history of our club. We're an attacking football club. We must be risk averse. We must have the best attacking players. We've got to entertain the fans. I don't know whether that's happening because they're at the top of the pyramid. They are in charge. They are making the decisions around who manages our club. And I think the last three managers have been so far removed from what Manchester United's all about. You've got to say, is the Manchester United way that important to our board at the moment? And somebody in there needs to wake up, and if it is important, start demonstrating that, because Mourinho's been employed to do a job. We don't know the ramifications of the contract that Mourinho was given. We were told by the press that Mourinho sent a love letter to Manchester United saying, please give me the job, I will entertain, I will play attacking football, I will promote the youth. What if it's the other way? What if that's a load of nonsense? What if the board begged Mourinho, please come to Manchester United, we'll pay you a load of money, we'll give you 3 years, just come to our club because we want you to win the Premier League title. And Mourinho walked in with no targets about playing good football or anything like that. We don't know, but it is a bit odd how we've employed 3 defensive-minded managers in a row at a club like Manchester United. It doesn't fit in with what our club's about. But tomorrow is another day. We're playing Brighton, and I think we can win that game. I'm going to go... Brighton have only lost 1 in the last 6, I think. They're a bit of a run-of-the-mill team, but they'll come and... trouble with run-of-the-mill teams is they're pretty good at teamwork, and they're pretty good at working hard, and they are a Premier League club around mid-table, so they'll give us a go. But I'm going to go Manchester United to win it 3-0. Don't know why, I just think tomorrow something's going to click. And it needs to. There needs to be a response tomorrow. But I do think... Just for those who missed it, I do think that we'll see that formation 4-3-3, which for me is still too defensive and too conservative at Old Trafford. Anyway, thanks for everybody who's joined me at lunchtime. Really, really enjoyed it. Jin Marchiban says, Mark, we love you here in Lebanon, the best channel on YouTube. Well, that's great. It's great to hear so many people getting involved from all around the world. Tonight at 8 o'clock, I must apologise because I just realised that I like a drink on a Friday, but some people may be from countries where you can't have a drink or religions or everything like that. So please do take my apologies for that. I do drink. I like a drink on a Friday, and I will have a couple of beers tonight whilst we're live at 8 o'clock. So please do join us for that. But apologies for anybody if you are offended by it or you're not able to do it. I don't mean to be offensive. It's part of my culture to have a drink on a Friday night. So it will be good-natured. It will be good chat. Mourinho's press conference is coming up in half an hour as well, so we'll touch on that definitely tonight and see what he's got to say. My fear is, well, we'll talk about it at 8 o'clock tonight, but I'll guarantee you there'll be no good questions asked again. Martial, Sanchez, Pogba, they won't be asked. And I bet nobody dare ask him what he meant by what he said on Tuesday. But I'm hoping there's an apology. We'll see. Please do drop a like on the video before you go. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Back at 8 o'clock tonight. Big weekend for United. Speak to you all soon.